Thank you. You don't have to shout.
Just reminds me, I don't know in here, but in the taxi just now, somebody said, "How can I help you?" It was from the phone. I don't know. How can I help you? You know, we're very loud. I said, "You can't." Taxi driver laughed. He said, "What did she ask?" He didn't speak English. So we have a wonderful Parsha, and we learn so much from Yaakov Avinu, our father Yaakov. He teaches us how to be happy in life and how to take one step at a time, and to look at the good that we have and not think, if only I had more. Or if he loses something like Rav Shach, remember Rav Shach from Panovich, when he got married in Europe before the war, he didn't get a home. Like they didn't get a home. They didn't get an apartment. They were supposed to, and I don't know the story behind it, but they didn't. So he said to his wife, "Well, Shem didn't want us to have a home. And when he does, we will." And they rented, whatever. And then there's rumors about Nazis and Hitler. And people say, "Wait, I have my money in the account, in the safe." And others say, "I have a home. I have to sell it, then we'll leave." And everybody's staying anyway, and there's no reason to run. And they said to each other, "Let's go. We have nothing here holding us back. If we see that we can come back in a year or two or a month or two, whatever, we'll come back. We don't have a hi." Mary Lester, hi. We don't have we have nothing to lose. It's not like we're going to lose our home. We don't have one. And they were safe. So Hashem protects us. And that's what Yaakov was saying here.
We are learning in the schools of Sagiv ben Bachelay having a Yeshua's like tomorrow. Sagiv ben Bachelay. Yeshua.
In that mirror.
Sorry, Susan.
And whereas when Esav was talking about what he has, he said, "I have enough, and I have Rav. I need more and more and more." Would you be able to read the pasuk? Are you up for that?
The first one, which one?
The first one, number one, whichever one you prefer.
Yomer Esav Yesh li Rav Achi Yehi Lach Asher Alach Yehi Lacha Asher Lach. Esav said, "I have enough, my brother. Let what you have remain yours." Trying to get that.
He did try that once before.
And how does that compare to what Yaakov said to him? That's the second, number 2, Parak 33, Pasuk 11. Chai, could you read it first?
Kach na es birchasi asher hu ba'at lach ki hanani elokim v'chi yesh li kol yiftzar bo vayikach. Please accept my present, which has been brought to you, for Hashem has favored me, and I have plenty. And when he urged him, he accepted.
And he took it. And Rashi, Debbie, can you read us the Rashi? It's on the bottom. Yeah.
Kol Sepuki, the Esav Deber, Veloshon Gava, Yeshli Rav, Yoter, Mikde, Zachi. I have a Yeshli Kol. I have everything, all that will supply my needs. But Esav spoke proudly. I have a Rav abundance for far more than my needs.
Wonderful. So there's the difference between the two of them. He had Gaiva, I have a lot and I have more than I need and I want more. And that's a person who thinks that it's because of me that I got everything. Whereas Yaakov realizes katonti. Remember, he said, "I'm so small. You've given me so much, more than I deserve, more than." And everything is thank you. Every nothing is taken for granted. Well, of course I'm going to have this, and of course it's going to be wonderful, and it's coming to me either because I'm wonderful, and or because I worked hard. But who gave you the strength to work, and who gave you that wonderful,
we do our bit, but the end results are not in our hands.
It's only Hashem, and He takes care of all of us. And so, if we lose something, we know we don't get excited. I mean, it's hard to reach the level of Yaakov, but he's our great grandfather, our Zaidi, and he teaches us that he's not excited about what he's missing. If he lost it, Hashem will give it to him. The Reb Fishel Schechter gave this shir, beautiful shir. He said he has a close relative who was in stock market, and somebody swindled him, like really, like fooled him, and he lost a lot of money. Let's say $100,000. It was a lot. Even then, it wasn't yesterday. It was more so. And he said, "It's okay. So Hashem can return it in a minute. Like he has a problem." And he said, "Okay, but even if Hashem returns it, you'll be back to where you started. You'll have your 100,000, which is nice. You could have had 200,000. Maybe I don't need it. Maybe apparently I don't need it. Hashem doesn't want me to have it." So it's just such a more relaxed life. It's so more like easygoing instead of ulcer prone. You know how people get ulcers from lachats at work and lachats in the rat race, and wanting more and more. And this is called, I'm not a slave to my money. What I have, I have. What I don't have, I'm not supposed to have. And so that's what we learned from Yaakov. And it's concerning gaiva and giving, because a person is afraid when he gives tzedakah, he'll have less money in the bank. But the tzedakah is the only money he has, because the bank could also go bankrupt. Banks go bankrupt. And the money could be, could all the money could lose its
value.
And then it turns into 1 shekel. It used to be 10 shekel, and every 10 shekels now is one. And so we learn. This is from Reb Michal Aberjal. He tells us how the neshama, how the Baal Shem Tov came to this world, and his parents worked very hard. His father owned something. They worked very, very hard, and they didn't have any children for many, many years. And they lived in Russia. He sold bread, and the wife, the mother, was fixed clothing. She was a seamstress, and they put together all the money they'd saved for many, many years, and they wanted to make Hachnasas Orchim, to make a place where people could come for Shabbos and even during the week, and to feed them. And so they bought dishes, and they bought pots and pans, and she cooked for them every week, and he had guests every single week, and his custom was not to send them away. Okay, Havdalah's over, bye. It was wonderful having you. Have a good week. Now where? It's cold, it's dark, it's Russia. It's not like they have a 982 waiting for them to take them home. It's not like they have a car outside, even if they have a horse. So he asked them, please, all my guests, please stay for Sunday. Gave them a nice morning Sunday brunch, breakfast, and then he sent them off and gave them money for the road. These are poor people that didn't know where they're going to have a Sunday dinner from. So one guest comes, he knocks on the door, they're all eating. He walks in and he's like, you could tell he's poor. You could tell, you home? Good, Baruch Hashem, thank you. So he comes in and his clothes and everything shows that he's poor. And he has a lot of bags. And in the bags, he starts taking things out. And papers are all over the table. They had a nice white table with wine and with challah and with gefilte fish. And inside his bags, not just papers. It's not just messy. There's muksa things. Whatever they had, pens, knives, things that are muksa, scissors. And it's all over the place. And people are looking at him. What a chutzpah to come here and make noise and make a mess. And the most, it's Shabbos, and the host, Bas Tov's father, Rebbe Eliezer, didn't say a word. Was makared him. Would you like something else to eat? What else can I get for you? Ignoring all this, and the same thing happened the next day. And he asked him at night, Rebbe Eliezer, please come and stay Motzei Shabbos, and tomorrow go home, and what can I give you? And he was so respectful for him, and with such warmth and love. And the man says to him, the Ani says, before they left, he said, you should know, Rabbi Eliezer, my dear Rabbi Eliezer, I'm not Staman Ani, I'm not just any old poor man. I'm Eliyahu Navi. Did you guess that? Were you there?
No.
I was there. I was a little baby. Then. You were born yet. And he said, they sent me from Shemayim to see if you're wondrous, amazing, how you take care. He took care of all the poor people with warmth and love and delicious food, and didn't let them go home on Motzei Shabbos and stayed and gave them money when they left. Is it just to get honor and to make, like waves and to like everybody will say, wow, isn't he a great person? Aren't they a great couple? Or is it really l'shem shamayim? Is it really because you care? And so they sent me to test you. And we see that you care, and you really, really care. If you had patience for me and love for me and didn't kick me out the moment coming, today it would be terrible, but it would be less terrible. Can you picture then? Yeah. Somebody looks at the table, it's like unheard of. It was,
somebody what at the table?
Taking books out, taking the pen out of there, and at the Shabbos table. And so you will be zocha to have a child, and they had a baby, and they called his name Yisrael, and that he continued bringing Hashem, us Jewish people, close to Hashem, and showing Hashem's love. And it says Hashem should take away all the sickness from the Jewish people. So we're talking about ayin ra and ayin tov, a good eye and a sarah, a narrow eye. When people look at each other and think, why does she have all that money or all those nice clothing or such a big house? It takes away from her bracha because it impacts it, and it lessens either her enjoyment with it or it lessens the things that she has in life. It's very powerful. We have a very strong power over ourselves and over each other. It's like taking away what Hashem gave her. And after 120 years, a person is judged, and the gates of heaven are open to those who have a loving eye, and to those who help each other and look. I'm so happy she has a big home. Use it well. I'm so happy that she has another outfit. Enjoy it. The covered Shabbos. Just enjoy it. It's beautiful on you. And when we see that, that's how Hashem judges us. He opens the gates of Shemayim for us. And it says that how many people love us, that's how many gates will be open. How many people say, oh, she's so miserly or mean or doesn't, isn't excited when something good happens to you, that's how many gates will be closed. And we learned this from Yaakov, and he was an Anav. And we also learned it from the Bas Ayin. His name was Bas Ayin. He had a good eye. He was a very humble person. He lived in Tzfat. And do you know that his yard site is tonight?
No.
Yes, Yud Beis Kislev.
My birthday.
Yeah, many people make Suda, a meal in his memory. That I went to one last night. That's what he asked. People could make a Suda in his memory, and he'll bring Yeshuas. He'll bring Yeshua, and he'll bring salvation. And tomorrow, Yudbeis is my father's yahrzeit. Going to be for the Neshama of Meir Ben Yisrael Shimon.
Right.
And Reb Average, his name was Bas Ayin, his real name was Reb Avram Dov of Average. He lived from 1760 till 1840. So like 200 years ago, plus he passed away. And he was living here in Tzfat as an older person. Until his older age, he was living in Russia. He was head of a very big kehillah, thriving kehillah. He was very rich. He had a lot of money. He had honor. He had everything. He decides he wants to come to Eretz Yisrael. In those days, he didn't get on an airplane, and 10 hours later, he's here. He got on a boat. It was a dangerous journey. It lasted weeks, and his plan was to come to Yerushalayim, to go to Yerushalayim. But on the way, he said, "Okay, I'm near Tzfat." Apparently, he got off the ship in Akko, the port of Akko, he says, I'll stop by Tzfat for a while on my way. And some very interesting things happened to him in Tzfat. He ended up staying in Tzfat, and he's buried in Tzfat. And he came here, and one of the big reasons that he came here is because he had a motivation. He had met in Meshulach, somebody who went to, in fact, the people then in Tzfat, the only way they survived was through help from other people, like in Russia, from other Jews. So he went there to collect money for Eretz Yisrael, and he said to the Bas, you should move to Eretz Yisrael, you should make Aliyah, it is so beautiful here. Just picture going to Mama Rachel, to Kever Rachel's Kever, to Kever Rachel, and it's such, you feel so close to Hashem and so close to our avos and imos, our zadis and bubbies, and then you go to the Kosel, and the Shechina is there always, the Shechina never leaves the Kosel. Just come to Tzfat, and then you go to Tzfas, and you'll be near the Arizal, and you'll be near Meron, and he said, in Tzfas, the floors, the earth is covered with diamonds and rubies.
What?
The earth in Tzfas is covered with that. He said, this Meshulach in Chutzarts, go make Aliyah, go to Eretz Yisrael. You won't regret it. You'll love it. That was one of the pushing factors that got him to come here. And when he gets here, he doesn't see any diamonds and rubies on the floor. He sees dirt and mud. And he sees, when it's raining, a lot of mud. And a while later, he meets this man, the Meshulach, that he had spoken to in Russia. And he said, what did you tell me? You were fooling me. I don't see any diamonds and rubies on the floor. It's a floor. There's dirt. There's dust. The man answered him. He was also a very holy man. You think everyone is zocha to see it? You think everyone merits to see the rubies and the diamonds? You have to be zocha. You have to have a closeness to Hashem and a certain madrega. So what did he do, the Basai? He went into a room and he stayed there for an entire year. And he worked on himself with holiness, with learning Torah, with praying, with thinking about Hashem. Every single day he looked out the window. Oh, it's still dirt. It's still dirt and stones. Another day. Until toward the end of the year, he looked out the window. What did he see? Right here, maybe it was this window. He saw diamonds and rubies. And then he came out. But one time in the middle of that year, he came out to go to a funeral here in Tzfat. So you'd think it was like a big tzaddik, like, the Chadodi, Reb Alkabetz. It was a person who did not have such a good reputation. And the Bas Ayin followed the nifter, followed the coffin all the way to the base almin, all the way to where he was buried. And he stood there and he watched, and he saw a fire. He saw a pillar of fire coming down from heaven. The Gemara discusses and talks about this pillar of fire. It says in the Gemara that when a very, very great person passes away, maybe one, maybe two in the whole generation, he merits that a pillar of fire comes out to attest to his greatness. But it's not every other person. It's not every tzaddik. One or two in a generation. And he saw it. And he told the people, and they said, Rebbe, he had just come to Tzfat, and he was locked up in a room. I don't know if they knew his greatness, but they said, Rebbe, maybe you're imagining it. Maybe you saw something else. He is not the pillar. He's not the one tzaddik of the generation. He said, no, I'm sure I saw it. So the Chaver Kadisha went to his wife, and they asked her, tell us about your husband. Because he did not have such a good reputation. And they said to him, we notice he has black on the bottom of his feet. She said, oh yeah, that's an old story. Well, would you please tell us what happened? So she said that her husband was a businessman, and he wasn't so careful about certain things in Judaism, in Halach. He wasn't that careful. And a local Paretz is a non-Jewish landowner. They could be very, very hurtful, very bad to the Jews. They could also be good. This one, he wanted his daughter to marry her husband, to marry this man that had just passed away. The man was very handsome, and the daughter took a liking to him. And she asked her daddy, get him. I want to marry him. So she said to him, I know you have a Jewish wife. Forget about her. marry me. And the father, the parents, promised him the world. He'll have palaces, he'll have all the money, he'll have honor, anything. Just take his daughter. He was taken aback, and they were smoking hashish. It's like weed. And so the whole air became like he got mixed up, and they were preparing for the wedding. All of a sudden it hit him like lightning. What have I done? Where am I? What did I do? How did I get here? And all of a sudden he said, what happened to me? Now it was a very cold night, and in the middle where they were sitting, they put coals to warm up, like those dark black coals so that they should have warm. That was their heating system. He jumped into the fire. He started dancing because it was very, very hot. And they look at him. They say, you're crazy. I don't want you for my daughter. She says, I don't want him. Get out of town. They picked him up and rolled him out of town. And his feet never recovered from the hot coals. And so they were still flat when he passed away. And the Bas Ayin saw a pillar of fire coming from Shemayim by his coffin. Because a Jew that does one thing with such mesirus nefesh and such pain and such, he was willing to give his life for Hashem. That's a pure Jew. That's a Jew of a high madrega, and he was very, very special. So after the year he came out, the Bas Ayin. Is there a cup, please? Taking a walk. Could also have another thing. Amen. This is so good. This is great. Thank you. So his Rebbe back in Russia was Reb Matel Chernobyl. Heard of him? Chernobyl Rebbe? Yeah, just till today. In fact, my friend in Borough Park spoke with the Rebbe, a Chernobyl Rebbe.
Chernobyl Shul in the old city.
There's also Bas Ayin Shul from the Rebbe, from who we're talking about.
Did we pass Bas Ayin on the way yesterday to Tiberia? I didn't recall. My husband had mentioned him, and I just noticed that something that Bas Ayin. Yes, it was Shul.
Could he have more than one? Because I think there's one in the old city near the
an incredible story about that shul.
Yeah, you remember it about the
earthquake?
The earthquake.
Yeah, amazing.
Yeah,
I think the same on Kodesh is still standing.
Yeah. From then, it's over 200 years. Everything in the earthquake, thousands of people died, and it was a very strong earthquake, and a lot of the houses were built on a hill, so everything collapsed. Yeah. And his shul, the Bas Ayin's shul, half of it collapsed. He was on the other half. He said, "Come around me, don't go outside." So those who did were caught in the earthquake. He said, "Come around me, and I'll protect you." And he lied on the floor. Yeah, and he lied on the floor with his arms and hands stretched out, his arms and legs, and nothing happened to that side. Nothing happened to that side of the shul, and they were all saved. And they asked him afterwards, "Why did you stretch out your arms and your legs that way, like Tachanun?" And he answered, "I wanted to show Hashem, I'm totally in your hands. Do whatever you want to me. I'm like totally mevatel. I'm just yours, Hashem. Do whatever you want." And that was what actually it characterized him. He was very honored. He was very, very, very soft and very modest and humble. And he wrote to his Rebbe, the Reb Matel Chernobyl, the first 3 years that I came to Israel, he said, I felt nothing. In fact, I regretted that I came. He had a very holy Torah life there in Russia. And then when I started feeling it, I regretted I didn't come earlier. He's so much in love with Eretz Yisrael. And he says, how many of us lose our lifetime opportunities because we don't have the patience to wait out the first 3 years? Look, I gave it 2 months. That's it. Forget it. I gave it a year. How much more? First 3 years, he said he didn't feel anything. And he was about to leave Tzfat to go to Yerushalayim. And it was on the 7th day of Cheshvan when we start praying for rain. we give enough time for the people in the times of the Holy Temple of Beit Medrash, they'd get home. So they lived outside of Eretz Yisrael. And we didn't want to pray for rain because our prayers are so powerful and strong that it's going to start, storming and raining and they're going to get wet. So they should be home by then. Vav Cheshvan, a couple weeks after Sukkot. And he heard a woman say to her daughter, "Go quick, run upstairs to the roof and take down the laundry because we're starting to pray for rain." And there wasn't a cloud in the sky. It was blue sky. He said, "If this is how women of Tzfat have such a emunah, I'm going to stay here. This is where I want to be. I'm going to stay here." And you should picture himself in Chutz La'aretz. He was so rich and he was wealthy. Here, his home, they have pictures of it, was so narrow. It was like built into the mountain that his bed didn't fit into the room. So they carved out the mountain to make his bed fit. And then he was so happy here. He brought together the three different kilos, the three different groups of Jews in Tzfat. And they were Sfardim, Hasidim, and Prushim. The students of the Gaon, of the Vilna Gaon. He brought them out together. And Tzfat was so holy that 2 hours before sunrise, rabbis' men would go up on the roofs and say, "Everybody get up to serve Hashem, get up to daven 2 hours before morning, every morning." And there were disasters that happened, like you spoke about, kind of like the earthquake, and there was pogroms from the Arabs and the Muslims, and they were coming and attacking them. And they put them in a tower, and they stayed there for 3 months, the Jews. And he and his wife collected money and used up whatever money they had to get food for them and clothing for them. And a different time, they were coming and they were on a rampage to kill all the Jews. And he could be saved. They said, "Come, we'll get you out of here and we'll get you to safety." He said, "No, I'm where the Jews are. Where the Jews are, I stay. I'm not going to." And this reminds me of Rabbi Chanan Wasserman in World War II. He had a yeshiva, Baranovich. He was very, very great and very, very honest. When he came to America to raise money, and the person introducing him said, "This is Rabbi Wasserman, the Rav of the Baranovich yeshiva in Poland, came to raise money for his yeshiva, and they have 1,500 students." He gets up and he said, "Thank you very much, but it's 1,494. He was very honest. He didn't want to exaggerate. "I'll give more money because there's more, 6 more students." And he was here raising money when the war broke out and the Nazis were in Poland. And he could have stayed. Why take a ship? Everyone's trying to escape. Why go home? Why go back? And he was very honest. They asked him what he thinks about the high buildings in Manhattan. He said they're so high, they hide Hashem. The person looks up, doesn't see the sky. That's why it's lovely to live here, lovely to live in a desert, to see Hashem and the sky, and to look up at it and remind ourselves at the beautiful heaven why we're here and what's important. They're so high, they hide Hashem. Meanwhile, he goes back to and he knew what was waiting for him. And the Nazis were coming, and he said to his students in the Beit Mikdash, there were offerings, korbanos, and there was one called Tamima, Ola Tamima. It had to be perfect, without any blemish. Let us be an Ola Tamima, without any blemish. Let's not think badly. Let's not question Hashem. Let's not be upset. Let's not ask, why is this happening? Let's be perfectly pure Tamimas when we go up to heaven. And he did. And he did it in his students. And that's reminded me, Mr. Bas Ayin also said, "I'm not leaving. I'm not going anywhere." And miraculously, he was saved. And he never had any children. That's why he asked, or one reason, he asked everyone to make sudos for him after he passed away. And people are still doing that till today. Reb Biederman comes and talks about him a lot and makes sudas for him. And I was last night, so she had a suda for him. And he thought of today. It's like we learned from Yaakov Avinu. Remember Yaakov in this Parsha made sukkos, he made tents, he made little huts for his animals, for the future, for all the generations. Said, I don't know, I can't help you get out of Gullus. I can't help you. It's going to be a long Gullus. But you know what? Let's have a hut and let's go to sleep. Let's take care of tonight. Don't worry about tomorrow. He gave us that. And everything that a Jew does, the Bas Ayin had this mixture, this combination, this balance of pride to be Jewish, pride to do mitzvahs, and humility. And somebody came to the Chidush HaRim of Ger and said, my davening is nothing. I'm not worth anything. Hashem doesn't listen to me. I'm so low. And he said, you make a bracha, let's say you wash your hands, or a bracha on our candles we make before Shabbos. We say, beginning, Asher Kedishanu, who made us holy with his mitzvahs. If you say that bracha, if you didn't have Kedusha, you wouldn't be able to say that bracha. It gives us Kedusha. Like another Rav, Chabad Rav, remember this Bacher asked him a question before Mara. And after he said, oh, davening, I can't answer now. After he said, could you answer me the question? He said, what, you didn't get the question? You didn't get it answered during Mara? Where we say in Shmon Esrei, Atachonein Ladam Das, you give a person who just believed, even a fraction of how powerful our tefillas are, how much Hashem hears them, loves them, it's precious to him, and he answers them. We would put in so much heart and so much excitement and so much passion into our tefillas and so much belief. That's a sign that we believe in our tefillas when we're happy after. You know, there's this big sign near Yesh. Are you ever up there? That's where I was today. And it keeps changing the pictures. I get there. What does it say? If you have a chaser, if you're missing something, it means you didn't pray for it or you didn't pray enough for it. I said, wow, that was just for me. Thank you. You know, these signs usually say cars, buy me, eat me, dress, wear me. And there was a Slonimer, also the Slonimer Rav in Tzfat, near Tzfat, there was a guy on the floor and he was saying, he's so old, he wants to die. He's so old. So he asked him, the Rebbe, Slonimer, how old are you? He said, I'm 105 years old. He said, it's enough. He didn't want to live anymore. He said, what are you talking about? One time putting on tefillin is worth all 105 years. What are you talking about? So if we could take that excitement for this and take that what Yaakov gave us to care and to just give of what we have and not worry, then we live a good life. We have a sukkah. What's the difference between home and sukkah? If it rains into the home, it's terrible. There's a flood in my home. Rains in a sukkah. Well, it always rains in a sukkah. Always rains in a sukkah. So it will dry up, and that's it. Or a sukkah. If we're in a bad place, we can take our sukkah and move. I'm so excited about this world. Be more like, easygoing, or like, it's a sukkah. We're passing by. We're here for 120 years. Goes like the blink of an eye. We're passing by. So somebody took our money. They took the Rav Shach's apartment, or they didn't give him one. It's all good. It's all good. And it saved their lives. And it's Hashem. You know how precious we are. Our prayers, putting on tefillin once in 105 years, saying the brachas, and we'll live with that passion and that love and that appreciation that we're Jews and that we live in Eretz Yisrael, and the zechus of the Bas Ayin. Well, it's Hashem, be able to serve Hashem with everything in the best way, with loads of simple.
No, it doesn't rain really.
Bye. We're going to Riva.
Yes, that's what I should.
Thank you. Thank you.
2 weeks of speech the way it all
Okay. Thank you for reading.